Today, we're going to cover the essentials, downloading Visual Studio Code and setting up your projects on GitHub so you can code to your heart's desires. Now, first things first, we need a code editor. To write code, you require either a text editor or an IDE. For most people, I would say that Visual Studio Code is a fantastic choice as it strikes the simplicity of a text editor, yet it can become as powerful as an IDE with extensions. To get started, first head over to the link in the description, code.visualstudio.com/download, and download the right version of Visual Studio Code for your operating system. So in my case, I'm using Windows 11, so I'm going to hit the install button over here. You can see a little bit of Visual Studio Code and its description, and it should take a while depending on your Wi-Fi speeds. But once you have it installed, I'm just going to delete this. Just go ahead and run it, and you should see the installation wizard pop up soon. So I have it over here. Accept the agreements, click next. You can do some additional tasks. So I'm just going to click next, and then you can click install. Now in my case, I already have Visual Studio Code, and it's over here. Now when you load it up, it should look slightly different, and you can do a couple things. So starting off, you have your extensions here that you can download. By default, you should have no extensions, and I recommend getting icons to customize your development experience. Now just going through all of the tabs, you can see the Explorer, and this is where you can add a folder. So for example, let's say I want to add my Python folders. I can go here and go ahead and just add in my Python folder. And now I can access all my Python code. Now for extensions, you can download several icon extensions. So if you just type up icon, you can see different things. Like for example, let's try this Nomo dark icon theme. I'm just going to go ahead and click install on that. And I'm going to use that instead of material icon theme. And now when I go back, you can see that my icons have changed. So you want to customize your development experience because this is what you're going to be looking at most of the time. Now we're going to try adding GitHub. Now this project or this folder already has GitHub, and you can see the .git ignore here. But let's see with a completely empty and new folder. Now I've opened up this folder. It has nothing inside of it, as you can see, and we're going to run a simple Python hello world program inside of here and then upload it to GitHub. Let's create a new file. Let's just call it hello world.py. And to just simply write hello world, it's like, oh, like so. So now let's customize this a little bit more. So you can press Control-Shift-P if you're on Windows or Command-Shift-P if you're on Mac, and go to Preferences, Color Theme, and you have a lot of different color themes here. Now utilizing the arrow keys, you can go ahead and check through each and every different theme. I personally do not like light themes because they hurt my eyes, and I like the Visual Studio C/C++ theme the most. So that is what I will be choosing. Now let's go ahead through each of these tabs. This is the search. You can use this to search up variables and things like that. Currently there's nothing to search since it's only one line of code. This is source control. This is going to be your best friend when it comes to working with GitHub. You can do everything with GitHub through commands, though having a nice GUI will just make your experience better. There's run and debug here, and this is useful for different projects. And there's also testing here, although I do not recommend using that if you are just a beginner. Now let's go ahead and open up your browser and navigate to github.com. That should be in the description. And if you don't already have a GitHub account, you should create one. So I already have a GitHub account, and I will sign in real quick. So now I've signed into GitHub, and I'm just going to go to my repositories. And from there, you want to click on New Repository. So you can give it a custom name. I'm just going to say tutorial, and tutorial is available. You can put a description, and you can make it public or private. I want to make this private in this case. I don't want to add a README or a git ignore for now. So I want to click on create repository, and then from here you should see little tutorial here, and you can create a new repository in the command line or push an existing repository from the command line. So in this case, I want to create a new repository. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. So go back to Visual Studio Code, and you can see currently I am working in the Canadian Coder projects folder when uh, I should be working in this folder since I want to back up just this folder. So go ahead, right click on this, and copy path, and then change directory to that path. There are spaces, put it in quotes, and that should work. And now you are in this directory. So go back to that tab, copy this, and go ahead and paste it into here and just press enter, and that will deal with everything. Now go to source control here. So I want to commit all, so I'm going to press control enter. There are no stages to commit. Would you like to stage all your changes and commit them directly? Yes. And oh, sorry, you need to put a commit message. So I'm just going to say test. Then you want to see changes. So it's going to pull and push commits from and to origin main. Origin main is the branch, and push means to put your data, your folder that's on your computer, and upload it to that main branch. Currently, you're not pulling any information. You're not taking any information from that online branch and putting it onto your computer because there's nothing there. So it's not going to pull anything, but it's going to push all of the changes, which is this hello world.py file. So you're just going to press OK, and you're going to wait until this is done. Now, you're going to go back to your browser. You're just going to hit that refresh button, and you should see your code here. So now there's an empty readme.md file. That's because of what we did in terminal. And then you can see the hello world.py file. And you can continuously update your code and keep on pushing it to GitHub by using the source control here. So let's say I want to print it's a nice day. Then I'm going to hit Control S to save. You can see that it pops up on source control. And again, you want to put in the commit message, Control Enter, stage the commitments, and then push it to the main branch. And if you go back to your file browser, since this should be done in just a second, you can see that it was just updated now, and it shows all of the additions and deletions. So in this case, we didn't really change anything, we just added a line here. And there you have it, a quick guide to get you started with coding, from downloading Visual Studio Code to personalizing it with icons and managing your projects on GitHub. You're on your way to becoming a coding pro.